Hi guys, how's it going? Welcome everyone who's new here, especially everyone from Calgary. How's it going? I know you're listening, so thank you so much for listening. Let me introduce myself. It's Natalia Schneidmiller, and I help women eliminate their fights from their relationships, especially with their sons or son. And my bet is that if it's showing up in your relationship with your son, then it's probably showing up in your relationships with other people. And so that's why I help you with all of it. And I help you do that by helping you to learn and I teach you to manage your own mind, because we can't change what's out there. We can't change other people. And so this is the tool that we do have. And this is the most powerful tool I've ever learned. That's why, I became a life coach, because it changed my life so dramatically. That's why I had to start doing that with other people. So today, I want to talk to you about people pleasing, and that when we people please, we basically are lying to other people. Okay? And I'm going to give you a bunch of examples from my own life where I did that and now I don't do that anymore. And I want to invite you to consider taking this as an opportunity to connect with yourself. And then you will be actually able to connect with others. Because guess what? If you are not being yourself with the other person, they're not actually connecting with the real you, because you're not showing them the real you, and you're not able to connect with them because you're pretending to be someone else. So I've been seeing that lately a lot with clients. And so this is why I wanted to record that for everyone. And again, I want to point out that this is not at all a chance to judge ourselves for doing that, because we are human beings and we live in a society and we want to belong, we want to be accepted, but we don't want to do it at our own expense, right? And so I think it's a great opportunity to learn more about ourselves, to be honest, and then to connect with others, okay? So let's not beat ourselves up if we do find that we do that, and because we're human, and let's just study it and be fascinated, and then aim for honesty. Aim for being honest with yourself. You don't even have to be honest with the other person, but just be honest with yourself. Okay, so I have a bunch of examples. So the first example I want to share with you is this is kind of a little bit personal, but when I sleep, I don't like to be touched. Like, I don't like to be cuddling and sleeping. Like, in fact, if I'm cuddling, then I can't fall asleep. So I want to cuddle with my husband, and then I want to roll away and go to sleep. So I had to be really honest about that with myself first, because I was really tangled up in my own head about, well, I should cuddle with him. And if he wants to cuddle, then, why do I want to roll away? Like, does this mean something about me in the relationship? And maybe I don't like him, right? All of that was super messy. And I had to really be honest with myself and then not judge it. I had to say to myself, it's okay. Like, I want to sleep and I can't fall asleep when I'm like being touched. So I will be okay with it. And, I'm not going to make it mean anything about me. And I'm just going to own it. And you know what? The people pleasing part was, for example, if I was not being honest with myself and I was judging myself for wanting to do that, I could have forced myself to cuddle and fall asleep and try to fall asleep that way and pretend that I like cuddling because I didn't want to disappoint my husband. That would have been terrible. And I think I kind of tried to do that, but because I was so sensitive about how I feel and I was paying attention, I'm like, this does not feel good. This does not feel like this is me. And I'm not going to just do this for his sake when I don't want to do this, This doesn't make sense. So the people pleasing could have happened for years where I would just force myself to pretend someone else, pretend that I like cuddling the whole night. And then I would have not been myself. And when I'm not myself, I don't have access to anything that's good. I don't have access to love him or to support him or to enjoy the cuddling, and I don't have access to enjoy myself because I am pretending to be someone else. I'm not like honoring what's true for me. And what's true is I want to roll away, cuddle up, and go to sleep by myself, okay? So this is just number one example where I think it's happens so easily. We want to please the other person because, first of all, since childhood, we are conditioned to believe that we can affect how others feel. If I say this, then they will be happy, right? And then we even teach our children, you make mommy happy. When you do this, mommy's happy, right? So then we feel, super powerful, right? I can control how other people feel. But then you get into this conditioning where you feel responsible for making them feel good. So then how can you let them down? If I tell them the truth, then they will be super upset. Well, it's just super easy. Let me just pretend that I like doing this, and then they're happy. And then I support the idea that what they think is more important than what I think, right? My opinion is not as important as what they think. So then I actually become dependent on what they think, and then if they're happy, then I can give myself permission to be happy. I'm like, okay, as long as they're happy, then I can feel good. But if I tell the truth and they're not happy, well, it's my fault. Then I don't get to feel good because they're unhappy. You see how it's such a messed up circle, and it's super exhausting to make other people happy. You're trying to manipulate the other person for them to behave a certain way so that then you can feel good. And you can feel not guilty, right? If I would be pretending that I like cuddling the whole night, then I would be manipulating him to be happy. I'd be like, okay, if I cuddle, then I will manipulate him to be happy by my cuddling. And then if he's happy, then I can decide that, okay, fine, I can feel good about myself and everything is normal, like status quo, good, right? So that is lying. When we are pretending to like something and we don't, you are basically lying to the other person. And if you don't tell yourself the truth, you're lying to yourself. And that's why people pleasers are liars. And it's very important that we look at it this way because people pleasing is not like a badge of honor. It's not a useful thing. We don't want to be liars, right? So why do we think people pleasing is okay? Another example, and let me just say that before life coaching, I was totally I was unconscious in my life. And I was just operating under whatever I have been conditioned to believe. So people pleased a lot. And the way it showed up for me that I can remember now was that I would pretend that I am really interested in someone else because I thought that that's what they wanted. And I would ask a lot of questions and I would pretend to listen. And I would pretend to listen and be interested when I wasn't interested. And I thought that was the best way to be liked. I thought that was the best way to show them that I care, that I like them. And then when they were super happy, then I thought, okay, now I can feel good about myself and how I showed up. But that was super exhausting for me because half of the time I was not interested. And I would walk away from that interaction feeling like I just robbed myself of this time and I don't even like that person. So that was the people pleasing that I've done. And so I'm going to give you some examples. Another example is when I said to my friend, I said, I want to go out and do something fun this Friday. This was a really while ago. And she said, why don't we go see this live performance of a guitar, with like guitar concert or something like that, like someone not famous, classical music. And at first I kind of had like a reaction, some sort of reaction in me, but then I said, oh, okay, sounds good. But then later that day, I had to come clean with myself and I was honest with myself first. I said, I don't really want to do that. That sounds boring to me. I've done enough classical music concerts in my life to know that it's not like that fun for me, and I don't have to do it anymore. And so I was actually had to push myself to be honest with my friend and say, I'm sorry, I don't want to do that. I would rather go see a Hollywood movie that's super mainstream and entertaining and not super classy. And by being honest with myself, and there I had to not judge myself for that honesty. It doesn't mean I'm a bad friend, doesn't mean I'm picky. It's just how I feel. That's it. Totally fine. Then, because I didn't judge myself, then I could then tell my friend the truth. And we ended up not going out that time, which was totally fine. But I had to be willing to have her not like me. I had to be prepared that when I say this, she might, not want to be my friend, or she might be upset, or she might be mad at me. But I was still okay with me. You know what? I was like, okay, if she's upset at me, I understand, because I don't want to go see her show. And so I will still be okay with me because I am okay with being me, right? Do you see how you have to make peace with your own opinion, right? You're like, this is where I'm at. I'm not going to pretend I like classical when I want to go see like a Hollywood chick flick. So those were not an easy example, not easy situations, but I just couldn't tell a lie at that point. This was me being as a life coach and me being aware of my thoughts and me feeling really bad when I lie. So I can't lie anymore. This doesn't, I don't see an upside to lying. So I had to really kind of prepare myself to tell the truth and be okay with what happens, be okay with the other person's reaction. And so I want you to know that doesn't just happen overnight. It does take practice, and you do have to be prepared for the other person to be upset. And sometimes the other person will be upset, and you have to remind yourself, this is okay. I can handle this. I'm okay with what's my truth, and I am okay with them being upset about it. Totally understandable. Right? And I'm not willing to pretend that I like classical guitar so that the other person's happy and sit there for 2 hours on a Friday night and pretend. This is just not worth it. And so then I am showing up as the real me. And if she still wants to be my friend, great, because now she wants to be a friend for me and she knows who I really am. Yeah? And she's totally fine with it. So the next example, I love these examples and I want to give you all of them because people pleasing comes up in so many different situations that we don't even realize that that's people pleasing. Okay. The other day, it was just a couple days ago, I was chatting with a friend and she said, oh, you guys should all come to the zoo with us. With the kids. It was like a Saturday and she has 4 boys and I have 4 boys and we need to do something active with them. And she goes, you should come to the zoo with us. And I go, oh gosh, I don't like the zoo. And it was so easy for me to say that because I have gotten really good at, I don't want to be bragging, but I want to show you what's possible when you get into the practice of telling the truth. And this was super easy for me. I'm like, hey, I just don't like the zoo. And I even said it. I said, I finally admitted to myself that I don't like the zoo. It's super boring. I don't know what the big deal is about the zoo. And I was not afraid that she's going to judge me because what's to judge? It's just me not liking the zoo, right? And I didn't have to, like if I was people pleasing and didn't want to tell her the truth, I might have to lie. I might have to come up with an excuse like, oh, we're busy, we can't go, or oh, we already made plans, or I'm sick, or there's kids. Like I would like that could be an option, right? Or I couldn't just, if I'm people pleasing, I can't just say the truth, and I don't want to go, right? Or I go and I am kind of resentful of myself. And I don't want to be there. And I spend all this money to go into the zoo where I don't want to be, spending there a few hours. And so then I'm resentful of myself. Or I lie to the other person and I don't get a chance to be honest with myself. I don't get a chance to be me, and she doesn't get to know me. And then I don't want to spend time with her because I don't enjoy being myself when I'm someone else. I don't want to pretend to like the zoo. And so we had a really good laugh. And she goes, yeah, I agree. She says, it's actually just a nice walk for me. I'm like, yeah, totally. But I don't have to go to the zoo to go for a walk. So like, what's the big deal with animals? Blah, 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 haha. So we had a good laugh about it. I really, really enjoyed telling the truth. And it was super easy, right? And so sometimes the stakes are low and you can just say the truth. Sometimes the stakes are higher and it's a lot harder for you to say the truth, but you can practice and it gets easier. You get better at it. And then you just can't go back to lying to people, okay? The other thing is, I know that some people struggle with this. I have never struggled with this, but I want to offer this as an example that it totally is people pleasing. When, for example, when you want to order a salad, and you want to stay on your diet or you want to stay eating healthy and you are going out, but everyone else is ordering like burgers and wings and fries, but you want to order a salad, but some people might feel that they will be judged if they order salad. So they don't want to cause the whole conversation of, oh, are you eating salad or are you on a diet or are you losing weight, right? They don't want to stand out. And they want to manipulate what the other people are thinking by ordering the same thing, right? They don't want to cause this whole attention to themselves. And so they are people pleasing in a way that they're lying by ordering what everyone else is ordering, right? Because they truly want to order a salad, but they order what everyone else is ordering and they go off their eating plan. And now they are not being themselves. They feel like they can't be themselves with these people they hang out because they will be judged for being on a diet. Like some people, they might say, I'm losing weight, but their friends are like, oh, you have nothing to lose. Stop being ridiculous. Eat some fries, right? So that's how we lie to people, is by pretending to be someone else. Hey, I'm totally fine. I'm not on a diet. I'm going to get a burger and fries. And then we are not ourselves. Now our friends don't get to know us, and we don't have a chance again to really be ourselves and connect to ourselves and feel good about being ourselves just as we are. Like, yeah, I'm on a diet. So what you gonna do, right? Like and I'm fine. Like I'm totally fine with having all the attention about this. Yep, I'm super skinny and I still want to lose weight, so sue me, right? This is totally an option for you to embrace being even more yourself in these situations instead of lying, instead of pretending. Okay, the same thing with alcohol. With alcohol, I've even met people who were afraid to tell others that they don't drink alcohol because they were afraid that the others will think that they're an alcoholic. Right? So to them, it seemed super logical. Like if I don't drink, then I must have a problem with alcohol. Then that means I'm an alcoholic who doesn't drink. And so that to them, going to a social situation or at work or with friends is terrifying, and they try to avoid it by all means. And then if they go, they try to pretend that they drink. So they get these drinks that look like alcohol, or they actually get alcohol, but they actually don't, like they pretend to have a sip, but they don't. And the whole time they're lying to people around them, pretending that they do drink because they're terrified of what the judgment will be. Now that is super, super sad because, this is totally unnecessary, and you are, again, missing a chance to be free, to be yourself, right? And so you, again, are manipulating them. Okay, if I pretend to drink alcohol, then everyone will think I still drink. Then no one will judge me. And then when no one judges me, then I can give myself a permission to feel good about myself. We're going about this the wrong way. We get to feel good about ourselves, even if they judge us. Like that's the best part. The best part. Let them judge you. It's their opinion. Their opinion does not jump out and jump into you. Okay? If you judge you, then that's something that you have to be honest about with yourself. And as you know, I've always talked about this. I think it's crazy. I love being the person who doesn't drink. I tell everyone and anyone, and I love being that person. I love it when people judge me because I love stirring up the shit. I love like being an example of something that's not normal. I guess that's why I'm a life coach. And being an example of something that's questions the social norm for them and has them thinking like, whoa, like what? She doesn't drink ever at all? Like why? Does she have a problem? Nope. And you know what? This is the practice that I have is I'm okay, totally okay, that if they have a judgment about me and if they walk away thinking that I'm an alcoholic, guess what? I'm totally okay with it. Because I know in my life, in my opinion of myself, that I'm not. And my opinion of myself is more important to me than what they think. Because also their opinion is not true. And so I'm okay with them being wrong about me. You know, that's okay. And if they ask me, I'll tell them the truth. If they don't ask me, they can keep their opinion. And so that is a people-pleasing situation for people who lie, who pretend to drink. Right? Okay, next example. The other example also, my friend wanted to celebrate a birthday with me, and she said, oh my gosh, we should go away for the weekend and go ski, just the two of us, and go to the spa and have dinner and then just stay at a hotel. And she was so excited, and at first I agreed with her, and I said, yeah, that sounds amazing. But as the time went on, the truth from me was that I actually did not want to do that. But, so the people-pleasing thing in me was, but I was judging myself for it. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with you? You should totally go do that. That sounds fun. Like, why don't you want to go? Are you always with the kids? Like, this sounds crazy. Like, what's wrong with you? You should definitely always want to go and spend time with a friend for a weekend. You know, especially my husband's totally okay with it. He was going to let me go, take care of the kids. And so I was really judging myself for a while, for weeks. But I had to really be honest with myself and really get down to deep with it and tell myself the truth. You know, I actually don't want to. It was hard for me to do that. And so the people-pleasing opportunity was definitely there. Like, I wanted to people-please her, and I wanted to say yes. And I mean, I did say yes in the beginning. And so that was me people-pleasing, saying yes. Meanwhile, the truth was a no, you know? And so that was me trying to be someone else, someone I think I should be. I should be this person who always wants to go away with a friend. So, but I slowed things way down. I said, you know, there's no rush. I can figure this out. And I was honest with myself, and I figured it out. And it was really hard. It took me a long time. I'm like, oh my gosh, why can't I figure this out? And so I was honest with her, and I said, you know what? I'm sorry. And maybe because we don't go skiing every weekend with the kids, I said, I feel like it's too much work. And it's too long. I said, I'm sorry. I just don't. And what I said instead is I would love to still spend time together. I mean, it's my favorite birthday present. So I would love it if we just stayed here in the city. We take the whole day. We maybe do the spa and maybe lunch and coffee and just maybe go shopping and just spend the day together, which we actually used to do last couple birthdays. I said, I would love that. And I was honest. And this was just my truth, and I was honest. But I had to be willing to tell her the truth and be okay if she's upset. And she's amazing, and she was not upset, and she's the best ever. So again, people-pleasing opportunities are at every single doorstep. Every hour, every day, you have a chance to either lie to someone and say, yes, I would love to do that. And then the truth is no. Or pretend to be someone else and pretend to like something, or, you know, there's the examples are endless. So this is another example. And now I definitely don't pretend to be interested in people when I'm not. But you know what's amazing what happens when you allow yourself to be not interested in people? You know what happens? It's you become interested in people sincerely. And you have access to that sincerity. And you feel so free, like, yeah, I don't have to ask any questions. And if I am curious, then I have access to that. But when we are pretending to like someone, we're pretending to be really interested in someone, you know what we're doing? We're shutting ourselves down and we're playing a role of someone else. So we don't have access to the sincere interest that we actually do have. Isn't that so fascinating? Hey, I don't have to feel interested in you anymore. I'm not going to do that anymore. But now I actually am sincerely interested in this and this and this and this. Tell me more. So really, again, I want to, now let's separate the two. So when we are lying to other people about what we like or what we want to do, what we don't want to do, and we're saying yes when we mean no, we are pretending to be someone else and are so that they like us or so that they are happy, that they approve us. And then when they do approve of us, when they're happy, then we tell ourselves, oh, okay, if they are okay, then if they're happy, then I can feel relaxed. Like I can relax. I can like myself. I did a good job, right? So you're making their opinion way more important than your own. And you're saying, what I think is completely irrelevant, but what they think and what they say is super important. So I'm going to depend on how they behave to determine how I feel. So you're basically you're asking them to people please you, basically. Like if they're showing me that they're happy, then I can feel happy. It's totally messed up. Let's not judge ourselves, okay? So then telling the truth is being honest and saying it's okay if you might not like me if I say no or don't do something, because of this, I still like myself, especially in this truth of me. And that takes skill and that takes practice and that takes being brave. You have to be brave to tell your friend the truth, like, hey, I don't want to go skiing with you, and know that she might be upset, which is way, way better than actually going skiing and not being fully present, not being fully excited about it. That would be terrible. And then I'm lying to my friend the whole weekend when I'm skiing with her, when I'd rather be with my family and I would rather spend just one day with her, right? That would be so terrible. And so or lying to her and coming up with an excuse why we can't go skiing. And I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to have to say, oh, my husband can't watch the kids, it's too long, blah, blah, blah. Because that's not truth. I don't want to lie to my friend. And with me and my best friend, we have gotten extremely good, knock on wood. I don't want to have another lesson with this, that we tell each other the truth and we completely try to strip away any of the conditions that we think we might have in being friends. Like, I'd rather you tell me the truth. And she did tell me this. She says, just tell me if you don't want to go, I'll be totally fine. And that's what I did. And that's what's the best about our friendship, is that it's totally unconditional. And I mean, the only condition is that we are honest with each other. And I even sometimes when I'm looking for my honesty with myself, I tell her, you know what? I have no idea what's going on. I don't know why I don't want to go. I need to figure it out. Now, when I figure it out, I'll tell you. And she goes, okay, no problem. I'll wait. Isn't that so awesome when you can be so honest with someone, when you can just tell them, I don't know why I don't want to go, but I don't think it's because of you, but I just don't right now, right? So I really wish that honesty for yourself, and because from that honesty, there's really nothing you can be afraid of, and then you can simply be yourself, be super confident, and have a chance to connect with yourself, build that trust with yourself, and then you can connect and support and love others. And that includes your son and your partner and everyone around you. Okay, guys? So if you need any help, I'm always here to help you with your relationships. You can sign up for a free session on my website, www.coachingnatalia.com, or email me at natalia@coachingnatalia.com, and we'll chat. You can tell me everything that's bothering you, okay? Now have a great week. I love you. Bye.